All right, testing, testing, one, two, three. If you guys can hear me okay, give me some thumbs ups over there. I forgot about that ending. It caught me off guard. I didn't feel like doing the usual, theme song today. I'm just not in the mood, guys. But I'm glad you guys are here with me. Maybe we can commiserate together. Good morning, though. It is 9:14 a.m. Pacific time here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Right now, it's about 52 degrees outside. Guys, thanks for being here. Right now, I need you more than ever. I think we all need each other more than ever. Um, Here we are, a couple days after the election. I'm going to try to keep it together. I'm going to try to not cry. Uh, I don't want to give them the satisfaction. We got 26 watching, 23 thumbs ups. Thanks so much. And since election night, I've lost 24 subscribers, which is weird. I know Hal Sparks was playing a clip from David Pakman, I guess yesterday, and Pakman was talking about how they lost 5,000 subscribers, and apparently everyone's doing that. I've lost 23, which for me, when I had 3,491 or so, to lose 23 in just a number of a couple of days. I mean, that's never happened to me. So I guess those were, and the only reason I'm not crying about that, or about losing subscribers, but it just strikes me as being odd, and it's like who were those 23 subscribers? Were those just bots? Were those Russian, or were they just Trump? I don't know. It's just weird. Were they just somehow, did they just send out a whole army of these either bots or trolls, and then as soon as the election was over and Trump won, they just disengaged from, not just from me, but they probably were all across anything that was liberal or democratic or whatever. It's just weird. Think about uh, the Russian involvement and how giddy Vladimir Putin must be right now because he got his puppet back in office. And God help Ukraine. That's all I gotta say. And Joe Biden, do whatever you can between now and January 20th to get as much missiles, fucking missiles. Ukraine needs to. They just need to go in and fucking level Moscow, as far as I'm concerned right now. Anyhow, I don't know who the first in the chat was because this YouTube is weird, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm scrolling all the way to the beginning. I do see MJ Daniel. If you were the first in the chat, thanks for being here. And here's what MJ starts us off with. It says a big part of the USA, mostly the South and Midwest, just voted to totally rat fuck themselves and do not even know it. They will find out after January, and I hope they all choke on their vote. And then he also says, how we got here is that far too many Americans are some combination of stupid, bigoted, selfish, paranoid, and shallow. I couldn't have said it better myself, MJ. And I've been reflecting lately about how this just keeps fucking happening. Not only was this a fucking repeat of 2016, but in my lifetime, I was born in 1960. And I was only 3 years old when JFK died. So I really have no direct memory of that. But I grew up all through the 60s and into the 70s hearing what a great president JFK was. And I believe that he was. In his 3 short years in office, he set in motion what later LBJ would do with civil rights and uh, voting rights, and even with Medicare and all that stuff. I think that was LBJ getting done what JFK would have done. I've mentioned earlier about Nixon or in past shows. I remember Nixon. I was a little kid. I didn't like Nixon. I remember the 68 election campaign. RFK, Robert Kennedy Sr., RFK was running. And I remember seeing him on TV doing campaign stops and rallies and thinking, just as a little 8-year-old or whatever, 7, 8 years old, thinking, wow, that guy's a really good guy. And I can remember that. I do remember the night that Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. I remember when MLK was assassinated. Those were horrible times, and those were good people that were being snuffed. And then we got Nixon. And I can remember in the early 70s, the Watergate hearings. I'm 11, 12 years old watching Watergate hearings on TV. And yet we still got that motherfucker as our president, Richard Nixon. Still, even with Watergate going on. Now, he did end up resigning. And then Ford finished out the term, and he didn't win re-election, or he didn't win election or whatever, and we got Jimmy Carter, and I love Jimmy Carter, and now I'm in high school, and I'm like, God, Jimmy Carter's awesome. And then in Jimmy Carter's second running for his re-election, I'm out of high school, and I'm all on board, ready to vote for Jimmy Carter. Well, I voted for him. I'm ready for him to go complete his, or go into his second term. And at the time, then there was the hostages in Iran, right? The hostage situation, and that really was a big deal, and it was hurting Carter's popularity for some reason. Like they're blaming this all on Jimmy Carter, and at the time we didn't really know about Iran Contra, but we did know about the hostage situation, and it was making Carter look bad. And then Carter sent in a SEAL team to go try and rescue these hostages, American hostages. One of the helicopters, I think, crashed into another one. I think most of the team was wiped out and killed, and that just ended that. It was like, well, I guess we're not going to do that. It just was one thing after another, and as it turns out, we find out later about Iran Contra. Ronald Reagan ends up winning, and on the day of the inauguration, I guess it was, Iran releases the hostages, just to make it look like Ronald Reagan is such a great president. He hadn't even done anything yet as a president. But the point of that is that was another cheat. That was another fix. Nixon cheated. Interfering with the Vietnam War and peace process there. Even before he was elected in '68, he cheated. Ronald Reagan and his team, they illegally were doing this arms for hostages and all this shit, sending money to Contra, rebels in South America. It was all this horse shit. We ended up with Reagan for 8 years and George H.W. Bush for another 4 years. That was 12 years of losing jobs, of high inflation, high prices, high unemployment. And then we had, Clinton, Bill Clinton, get my names mixed up, was able to finally break through, and in that reign of terror of the Reagan-Bush era, and we saw record job creation. We saw wages going up, jobs being created, debts coming down, our deficits actually bringing our deficits all the way down to a positive. And then in 2000, Al Gore would have won if they hadn't stopped the count in Florida. The Supreme Court stopped the count, of course, brought on by right-wing activists, I guess, like Roger Stone, the stop the count and all that shit. And the Supreme Court appoints George W. Bush as president. So another steal, another cheat. When is it going to stop? And it keeps going on and on. And then we have fucking 8 years of W. Again, by the time he was finishing up his second term, the U.S. banking industry was going under. We had a huge housing burst bubble. Our economy was in fucking flames. So we got Barack Obama to come in. And I know a lot of people second guess Obama and they like to reinvent history about Obama. Obama was a great president. Got a great economy going, cleaned up Bush's messes, took us out from almost going into another Great Depression and turned that economy around. And by the time he handed that off, to Trump, we had a really great economy, created jobs, more jobs than ever before, got health care to millions of people that previously couldn't get it. And then we all know what happened in 2016. More fucking bullshit. I mean, Russian involvement. Hillary Clinton would have been a great president. But we don't get to see that. We don't ever get to see that. Instead, we see Trump leading us, taking a great, really being handed off a really great, rolling along great economy from Obama. Within 2 years, we're headed into a recession under Trump. And then COVID hits. And Trump intentionally mishandles COVID. And even if he hadn't intentionally mishandled it, he still would have mishandled it because he's a fucking idiot. And due to his mishandling of COVID, at least by reports I've read, I know we always like to say he killed 1 million people, but from I think the things I've read, where I recall, they attribute at least 500,000 unnecessary American deaths. Because there were going to be deaths from COVID, I guess, even if it were handled well and by the book that he had that he threw away. But they're estimating, I guess, at least 500,000 deaths could have been avoided if Trump had handled it correctly. So he's killing Americans in his first term. I mean, it was 4,000 dead a day. Hospitals were overrun. They were stacking up bodies like cordwood. Doctors were dying. Nurses were dying because we couldn't get the PPE that we needed. We couldn't get ventilators for people. We couldn't get even testing kits, nothing. And then later on, we find out that Trump sent a bunch of that shit to Russia, to Putin, when we needed it here. So then the American people said, okay, we're done with this guy, and we elected Joe Biden. Thank God somehow we were able to get Joe Biden at least to stop this at least for 4 years. We've been able to stop the scourge of the right wing and of this orange turd At least for 4 years, we've been able to do that. And hopefully, you guys can hear me. Thank you, Chad. I see a $10 sticker there. Chat, super chat. Thank you so much, Chad. I appreciate it. Within 2 years, Joe Biden, first 2 years, he turns around an economy that was in the shitter through his Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, this infrastructure acts. He brings back jobs. He turns around the economy. Wages are going up. Inflation spikes. And that gradually comes down. Now where it's at like 2%, from about 9.1% down to 2 point something percent. Has created more jobs. There've been more jobs created under Joe Biden in his not even 4 complete years than all the presidents combined in U.S. history. That didn't matter apparently to the American voters this time around. None of that shit matters. Apparently, doesn't matter. You create so many jobs that now there's not even enough people to fill all the jobs. None of that shit matters. Apparently. Apparently, Joe Biden was too old. So what do? They elect an old man. They elect Biden. They elect Trump, who's now the oldest president to ever be elected president ever. Okay, so Biden steps aside from the campaign a couple of months ago, however long it was, 2 3 months ago. He's forced out. He could have ran. I just saw him do his speech today. I watched a little clip of it. He seemed fine. He seemed fucking fine to me. But he was forced out because he looked so bad on that debate. And I admit, I thought he looked really horrible. I'll admit it. And I still, if I watched it again, I don't think that opinion would change. He looked bad. Biden did. Didn't come off well. And it was because of that there was this increased pressure all around him to drop out. And so he does that, and then he says, "But it's going to be Kamala." And I remember that day being very, very sad and feeling like the rug had been pulled out from under me, feeling like this is fucked. He just gave the fucking election to Trump. But then within a couple of hours, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to sit here and wallow in self pity. I'm not gonna let that happen. And first thing what did I do? I found the Kamala Harris uh, website. It ended up being Act Blue, I guess, or whatever. But I donated like $20 to her campaign, and lo and behold, that's what everybody did. So many of us did, and within those first couple of days, the Harris campaign raised like hundreds of millions of dollars. It was unheard of. It was unprecedented. And they would go on to raise, I think, over $1 billion. They've raised $1 billion fucking dollars. So don't tell me that Kamala Harris did anything wrong. I've never seen a campaign like that. I've never seen a candidate work so fucking hard. It's Kamala Harris. Try to keep it together. She was amazing. She it was flying everywhere, cross country. One night she'd be on the East Coast, and the next night she'd be on the West Coast. I mean, she was everywhere. And Tim Walz, a great guy. He was all over. And she was getting Taylor Swift, for God's sakes, and Beyonce, and all these big endorsements, and there was all these record amounts of new registrations going up, and all this excitement, and it felt like Obama all over again, but on steroids. It felt even bigger than Obama. The excitement, and then even the polls. And I know we always say the polls, you can't believe the polls, but we were looking at polls, the same polls that showed Biden trailing Trump now had flipped and had Kamala in the lead. So we had all this stuff. No wonder we're mourning and we're in shock. All this support. We had Republicans, prominent Republicans, coming out and saying they're not voting for Trump. They're going to vote for Kamala Harris. Almost everyone who worked with Trump at one point, his staff, everyone around him, the generals and everything, they all came out and said this guy's a fascist and that they're not going to vote for him. All this stuff. And then you had these so-called experts like the Lichtman guy, or whatever, who's never been wrong ever. The only time he was wrong was when Bush won against Gore, but he picked Gore, and it turns out Gore would have won if they hadn't stopped the count. So he was really right on that too. But he had picked every president. He was right every single time, and he was saying Kamala Harris was going to win. I mean, so we had all this shit where it really looked like, well, I hate to say it, but it looked like she had it in the bag, right? And I could not picture Trump getting more votes than he got in 2020, and I could not imagine Kamala Harris not getting at least as many votes as Joe Biden got in 2020. It just seemed like a no-brainer. If you voted for Joe Biden in 2020, why the fuck would you not vote for Kamala Harris in 2024? It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Other than the fact, and I know Liberal Dan has said this, and I've heard lots of other people say this, and I gotta believe it's true, other than goddamn misogyny and racism. Which I thought that was more of a right-wing thing. I didn't know that was a left-wing thing so much, to the point that it would cost an election. We lost the Senate. I haven't seen the numbers on the House. I guess it's still in play. If we lose the House and the Senate, and Trump has the Supreme Court, we truly, truly are fucked. And not only are we fucked, but Ukraine is fucked. The Palestinians in Gaza, they're fucked. Women are fucked. God forbid you should get pregnant and you have a complication and you're miscarrying, but you're in Texas or Florida or some other fucking backhoe fucking state, and they won't see to your health care there, and you end up being turned away, and you end up bleeding out in the parking lot. God forbid that should be one of your daughters or your wife or your sister, your mother, whatever. So we got 2 years. If we can hang on and we still have elections, I mean, I'm not ready to quit. I'm not ready to give up. After all this whole history I just laid down about all, it just keeps happening over and over and over again. We get Republican presidents that have no business being president because they're crooks. Nixon was a crook. Reagan was a crook. George W. Bush was a fucking moron. Trump, the biggest crook of them all. He right now is a convicted felon and an adjudicated rapist. And he's not going to be held responsible for any of that. Whatever he's paid to E. Jean Carroll, I imagine the payments will stop and they're not going to go after him. This sentencing at the end of the month, he's not going to get any jail time. Jack Smith is already closing up shop. So he's going to get away with taking top secret documents out of the White House and letting whoever he's let see whatever he did with them, whoever he gave them to, that's all going to go away. His trying to interfere with the election in Georgia, I guess, was that a state charge? Was that state of Georgia? I don't know. If Fani Willis, she's still there. We'll see how that goes. But they're already talking about you can't indict a sitting president and all that bullshit. So all that shit's going to go away, which is what he wanted. That's why he ran. That's why he ran for re-election. That's why he threw himself into that 2 years ago when he got that first indictment 2 years ago. So he got what he wanted. He's going to skate. And in the meantime, now we've got to put up with his bullshit. We've got to put up with Project 2025. We got to and first thing, I guess, deportations will commence January 21st. I don't know. I was really looking forward to Kamala Harris for 8 years of Kamala Harris. I really was. That's the problem, I guess, is I counted my chickens before they hatch. I really thought that, okay, we denied Hillary. We weren't going to deny Kamala this time. And the thing is, people don't even know. There's so many people that are just they have their heads up. They go through life with their heads up their asses. They don't know anything really about Donald Trump and the things he's been saying and how he's been on this really fast slide, whatever. He's really losing his shit. They don't even know that. They still think of. I bet you 90% of the voters, they just think of Trump from like 8 years ago. They don't even know the Donald Trump from now. It's all just like a name recognition. Oh, there's Trump. I'll vote for him. I did this show because I was hoping, in my own little way, at the beginning, like 100 something subscribers, in my own little tiny way, that maybe I could help get the truth out there. I could help to push out, the Democratic message, the liberal message, or whatever. Help, just in my little tiny way, help to fight against, all of the disinformation that's being put out there by the right-wing media. And I was hoping, in my tiny little way, maybe that would add to what's out there, with Hal Sparks and the Randy Rhodes and Tom Hartmans and Stephanie Millers and that whole gang. They have much bigger platforms than I do. but maybe in my little tiny way, I could just be that one, the little thing where you just add it. It's like you fill a bucket. It's like one drop at a time, and maybe I could be just that one little drop to help fill the bucket or whatever. I'm still going to be here, folks. I'm not quitting. Sometimes you feel like quitting, but that's what they want. They want us to quit. They want to just run us down and wear us out. But we can't let the bastards win. So we got to keep at it. Let's keep at it. Look, I kind of got through that with just a little bit of moistness to my eyes. Um, I don't know the chat here. It's been going along. I've probably missed a lot of the chats, so I sorry about that, guys. Don't take it personal. It's just for some reason it won't let me scroll back up to the top. But I just see that Lorraine Sparviaro is here. Fancy's here. Kimchi is here. I saw Robert was here, but it disappeared. It just disappeared. I have it on all chats, but it's not letting me scroll back up. CN is here. Kimchi. James Williams is here. Good to see James. Delta Dawn. Hello, Delta Dawn. Love your ink. William's here. Good to see William. We got Brenda Triplet. Hey, Brenda Triplet's here. Saying people just can't understand how this happened. WW says, laughing out loud, Rich. He was a womanizer, perhaps addicted to painkillers, but he was our womanizing addict. I'm not sure if you're talking about, I don't know, you talking about Clinton or something? Was a Clinton addicted to painkillers? I don't know, but I got apparently Nick Rich is here. Josh is here. Good to see Josh. Robert Perez is here. It says, I'm telling you, Donald Trump is the Antichrist, and we're going to have 8 years of death, destruction, and all crazy things you thought you never seen. We're going to see a lot of impossible things happen. I don't think Donald Trump is going to last 8 years, and I think there is going to be a lot of buyer's remorse. Like, if we can still, I guess I have to add the caveat that if we can still have elections, and I think we can have a big blue wave in the midterms, and I think we can win in 2028 the presidency. I think we got to put up Gavin Newsom or something. I don't know. I like Gavin Newsom. I hate to say it. I don't know if we could put up a Gretchen Whitmer. People are talking about, they've had these names before about these great female, leaders and governors and senators. I think are awesome. I don't have a problem. I have no problem with a woman being president of the United States. It doesn't even enter my mind. That's why it's hard for me to believe that is a reason why Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton didn't win, because she's a woman. I don't get it. It doesn't enter my mind, that thought process of, oh, she's a woman, she can't be president. That does. We have governors and we got senators. Why can't we have a woman president? But sad to say, I think we're going to have to maybe lay off on putting up woman presidents. I guess how many years away are we? Are we 20 years away, 50 years away, 100 years away? I don't know. But I'm sad to say, I think we're going to have to put up a male candidate. And I feel awful for just saying that, for having those words coming out of my mouth. I don't know. See, I'm not able to scroll back. Apparently, Jolie's here because I see people saying hi to Jolie. So hi, Jolie. Glad to see you here. Good to see you hanging out with us. I hope it helps you out. Just I consider us to be all friends here in the chat, and it's good to surround yourself with friends, I think. Uh, I know this doesn't compare to actually losing a loved one. This election, I can't. I mean, I don't mean to diminish that the loss of actually losing a loved one. But I feel like we're all mourning this as like a death. Just like in 2016, it was like I felt like someone had died. But so this is got to be like a double blow for Jolie, who lost a loved one, and now this election. And all we can do is come together and just hold each other's hands, uh, whether in real life or virtually here in the chat. Just hold each other's hands and just know that we all have each other's backs. We're all here for each other. We are all here for each other. We got to stick together now more than ever. Mike H is here. Thank you, Mike H, for being here. Delta Don says Reagan started Social Security taxation. Fuck him. Absolutely. Cian says the church had 10 years of brainwashing and now IQ and buying the corrupt ones and those traitors that work as the turd for Moscow. So please think again what your plan will be. Brenda Triplet said, I had to work a short shift yesterday and had two major meltdowns with Trumpers I've known for years. Called him that orange. See, for now my chat is just disappearing. It won't even let me scroll back up. I don't know what's going on with my YouTube pages. They're all screwed up. I'm not even on my own channel because I can't get all chats, all messages. Anyhow, so that disappeared. I couldn't read that all. But Kimchi says Canadians, I bet, could know more about American politics than most Americans. That's true. Dat. Robert Perez says, "Hey, don't worry. He's only going to be dictator for a day." Yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod. MJ Daniel says, "People in the South and Midwest, especially, have totally fucked themselves, and we'll find out soon." Like I say, I think there's going to be lots of buyer's remorse. Hopefully, I mean, and I think that's what's going to get them kicked back out in 2028. And I think we have a chance of swinging things in the midterms at the congressional level. But that's me being optimistic, I guess. We'll see. I mean, we're still, 2 years out away from that, so we'll see. Tim Farrell's here, says, "Hi gang, I'm having a really hard time getting out of the sad phase and getting to the angry phase." Yeah, this is gonna linger. This one, man, it's gonna be tough. That's why I said we need to all come together. We need to stand together and have each other's backs, and now more than ever. So that's why I'm not quitting this show. No one's quitting. I mean, Hal's going to be here. Stephanie Miller's still going to be here. We're all going to be here. Uh, Brian Tyler Cohen is still going to be here. Whoever you listen to, even Dude. I watched Dude's video where he's changing his format. Where he's not going to just do these debates anymore. He's going to do more, I guess, try to get out information, good information type of stuff. And he looked very sullen. I mean, we're all taken. We're all just really hit hard by this, and it's just like a blindside, But we definitely have to have each other's backs, and we'll get through this. We will get through it. It's just yet another setback. I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately, and this is true of like any story. There's always a protagonist and there's an antagonist, right? The protagonist is the hero, is the leading character, and that it's the character who's trying to get from point A to point B, basically. And the antagonist is the foil. The antagonist is the bad guy, the villain, the obstacle, the hurdle. And I just recently, in the last few weeks, went and rewatched, or I rewatched Prison Break because I'd only watched I think the first 2 or 3 seasons in the first. I think I only got to like 2.5, somewhere I left off. So I went ahead and I rewatched the whole. I think there's like 6 or 7 seasons of Prison Break. And in those days on TV, because this wasn't like a streaming show. This is a TV show, and they would have like 30 something episodes, in these first few seasons, and then there's a lot of episodes. And the thing about Prison Break that I liked, even though it's in real life, none of that shit would happen, but still, that's beside the point. This is fiction. It's a great story, and for those of you who don't know, I'll just tell you, it's about this guy who's really kind of like a genius guy. Oh, he's a guy. He's a young man, and his brother gets falsely accused of murder, of murdering the vice president's brother, I think it was, right? And so he ends up getting the death penalty, and he's on death row in an Illinois state prison, I guess it is. So the younger brother, he devises this big plan to get arrested for a bank robbery. So then he gets sent to the same prison where his brother's at, and he does this whole body thing of tattoos, and really, and it's this very intricate looking or ornate looking tattoo. It covers this whole upper torso, and basically what that is, though, embedded in that was like a blueprint, because this guy was a architectural engineer or something like that, and so embedded in that tattoo was like all the blueprints of the thing, so he could mastermind this big escape. And so that show, they would lay out the plan. Okay, here's the plan. But inevitably, every single time they would start doing this plan, another wrinkle would come up, another obstacle would come up, another something that would foil his plan. And so the main character here, he's got to think on his feet all the time. Okay, that didn't work, or that, okay, now I got to do this, and I got to do that. So that was like the appeal of the show, and that's what basically all stories are about. The protagonist being foiled and having these obstacles by the antagonist, whatever it is. But I'm talking about this because in real life we've been set back a blow. We've been hit. We've got an obstacle. Our plan was Kamala Harris is going to win. She's going to continue the great policies, these great economic policies of Biden, and even keep improving on them for the next 8 years. That was our plan. That was what we saw. At least that's what I saw. And from there, it was going to get so good and so great that they were never going to even elect a Republican ever again, because why would anyone, when we've got great economy rolling and jobs and wages, and we've got more and more people, everyone's on health care, everything's going fine. But it didn't work out that way. That plan has been scuttled. So now we've got to think on our feet. We can't give up. We got to think on our feet and think of, okay, now where do we go? Now what do we do to get back on our goal of freeing our brother from death row? Okay, that was the ultimate goal. So now what do we got to, now, okay, we got to keep going, revise the plan, make a new plan, whatever we got to do. But we don't just give up and let our brother die in the electric chair, okay? So now the plan is just keep getting the message out of, and the truth out, beating the disinformation, beating all the lies, and exposing Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and all of the Republican assholes in the Congress. Keep exposing them for their lies and their bullshit. That's all we can do. and then support good candidates, good Democratic candidates, and get their truth out. That's what I'm going to dedicate my show to. That's what I think everyone's going to do that. Liberal Dan, we're all going to, I think we're all going to double down on our efforts to get the truth out there. No more bullshit. No more pussyfooting around. Steve Sayre says, Musk told us to expect a down economy by Republicans fire up Project 25. God help. I hope we get the house. I hope we can somehow get the house. I haven't heard if that's been called yet. MJ Daniel, blame the American voters. They will find out soon enough. We all will, and fuck them for voting this way. Keith Politz here. Hey, Keith, good to see you. Keith says, we are looking at living in a cacostocracy, a state or society, and then see. I don't know. I can't see the chat now. Now it disappeared. Terry Trailer says, hi, feeling pretty bad. Not sure what happened, but something is really off with the election. Brenda Triplett, many young voters had problems because signatures didn't match. They quit teaching cursive here 10 years ago. Kim Shi says, hugs, big thanks for caring for America more than Americans. Aaron West, I have lost faith in humanity. People are just awful, not you guys. We can't give up, Aaron. We cannot lose faith in humanity. There are lots and lots and lots of good people, not just the people in this chat, not just the 51 that are watching in the chat right now. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of us that are good people. I know we want to say everyone sucks and everyone's an asshole, but there are millions and millions and millions of us, and there are millions and millions more that need to be woke up. We need to keep saying, that being woke is not the bad thing. See, that's the thing. That's what Trump and those assholes, that's why they attack wokeism so much, because they don't want people to be woke. They don't want people to be educated and informed. So you know what? We need to say, fuck you. We're going to be woke. We are going to be the most wokest motherfuckers you've ever seen, motherfucker. For them, it's all projection and confession and all that shit. And if they attack something, it's because it's something that we need to utilize. They attack wokeism, which to me is attacking education and information and awareness. Don't give up, Aaron. Let's not give up. MJ Daniel will say goodbye to Gaza and Palestine and Ukraine. Fuck those people too. Tim Farrell says Trump administration will be criminal and Trump will be a Pez dispenser of pardons for cash. Fancy, I alternate between tears and anger. James Williams, it was rigged by media outlets paid by Putin years ago. He has always bragged he would defeat America without firing a shot. Mission accomplished. We're not dead yet, James. We're not dead yet. As long as I have a fucking breath and you and me, we have a voice and a breath to the very last fucking breath. We're not dead yet. Wildflowers here. I love you all. Oh, thank you, Wildflower, for being here, by the way. We will come out stronger, I promise you. What does not kill me only makes me stronger. Absolutely. Lorene Sparfiaro says, I am truly scared. I think, I have a black gay son who I am so proud of. He is such a wonderful man. Thank the gods. He lives in Australia right now, but will he ever be able to come home with his husband? Might have to wait 4 years or something. I don't know. Sayhouse here says people are going to have to start suffering and dying before they realize how bad this is. Unfortunately, I think you're right. How many more people are going to die now? Like I said, the women having miscarriages. My mom had 3 motherfucking miscarriages, at least that I know of, because I was a little kid. The later ones I remember because I was a little older. Between me being born and my brother being born, we had about almost a 16-year separation there. My mom had at least 3, maybe 4 miscarriages. Now, if she was doing that today and she lived in Texas, or some fucking back assward shithole state like Texas, yeah, I said shithole. I called it a shithole. Then who knows if she would have survived? She wasn't trying to get abortion. She wanted babies. She wanted to have a bunch of kids. And she managed after, that 16-year period, finally her body was healthy enough or whatever where she had 2 kids. She had my brother and my sister. Kind of late in life. 16 and 18 years after me. It was talk about miracles. But she wasn't trying to get an abortion. She wanted kids, but she would have been looked at in some of these states, like, sorry, we can't help you. All because of these fucking morons, like fucking Greg Abbott. I'm just thinking of him because he's a fucking moron, and DeSantis. They're such fucking. I mean, they're a waste of air. Julie says, "Shut up, Chad." I can't. It won't let me scroll back up, so I don't know what Chad said. So I don't know. Probably something stupid. Kimchi says, "Well, no, we are now a fascist country. My family and friends are in jeopardy, and I cannot bear to see it." Brenda Sherwood says, "I even went off on my abusive ex, who said he came by to check on me. He said she lost because of the terrible economy. He's been a lifelong Democrat and union member. I banned the terrible economy." And this is from a guy who's in the union. He should know fucking better. How many years behind is he? And I'm not just picking on your husband, but I think this is indicative of the American populace as a whole. It's like, how many years does it take for information to filter down to these motherfuckers? The economy has been rolling and really good and strong for the last couple of years, and especially this year, where we've seen inflation go down to 2.1%. We've seen the GDP running along at about 3%, cruising right along and trending to keep going as long as the Biden policies were intact. Trump's going to ruin all that. So what's going to happen to these people when Trump ruins the economy? Are they going to blame it on Biden? Because it might take a couple years. The things that are in place now, we might keep rolling along to a pretty good economy for the next couple of years. But at some point, Trump's going to, he's going to do his tariffs, and he's going to do whatever he does, and he's going to give more tax breaks to the rich. And he's going to run our debts up even more, trillions of dollars. So it might take a couple years before we see the effects of that. But people are going to, so are they going to go and say that was Biden's fault? That's a result of Bidenomics? Fuck you. That's bullshit. So that's the thing. People are, the masses are asses. That's a saying I remember hearing from the 80s. The masses are asses. And what that means to me, the way I take that to mean, is that the general public, they're not like us. Like, we're in here, we are somewhat informed. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm nowhere near as smart as a lot of the people that you watch and I watch. But at least I'm kind of up to date on what's going on. I'm not living 4 years in the past or 8 years in the past. And so when the masses are asses, it's because the way I sort of visualize that in my head is just like this big, almost like big fat kind of worm or salamander or whatever of group of all of the American people. And you've got the head, people that are out front, people that are engaged and involved and are listening and learning. And then and it's kind of narrow, and then it goes out into this big fat belly. That's the masses. That's the general public, the general population, and then it narrows down into like the tail or the rear section, and those are just the fucking morons that they're never gonna get it. They're never gonna get anything. They're just, well, for whatever reason. But that big, giant, fat belly, that's the masses of the people. And it just, and so this big worm or salamander is sort of slithering along. And here's the information up here at the front. And the people in the front, we're like getting it. We're seeing it. We're going, yeah, that's awesome. Or look at that. That look, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, unemployment's down to 4%. Okay, cool. Wow, look at that. Hey, inflation's dropping. Hey, look, it's down to 2.5%. Wow. We're seeing all this shit. But the people in the big giant fat belly, it's slithering along, but it's so slow to get to that point. So that by the time they see that shit, the real time is way up here where the head's at. So this big fat belly of masses is behind everything. They're always behind. There's always this lag, this big lag time period. So I guess we got to do a better job of getting the information down faster to the big fat belly part of the worm, I guess, or the salamander or whatever it is. That was a hell of an analogy there. Keith Lee says Trump will die of dementia, and we get J.D. Vance. God help us. Wildflower, they too will suffer for their ignorance. CS says my flag is half mast and upside down. If a Supreme Court justice can do it, so can I. Fancy, you did your part, Chucker John. I tried, and I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not gonna give up. Alvin Stube is here. Hey, Alvin, good to see you. Thanks for being here, joining us in the driver's lounge today. Good to see you. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and share. I don't know if this is a bad time to mention it. I don't want to sound like this is in any way equivalent to us losing the election and Kamala losing, but I did lose 23 subscribers. So make sure you hit the share button. I don't know if those were just trolls or Russian trolls or bots or what, but as soon as that election was over, I immediately saw the number go down. So it's weird. Kimchi says Americans are ignorant of history because our city were going to the ground in World War III. And I what's the first thing I thought was World War III is coming. Trump is going to let Putin. He's not going to give any weapons to Ukraine, any help at all to Ukraine. I don't know if Europe can step up. I don't know if there's anyone that can step up like America can. And if that happens, and you see Putin just run over Ukraine, slaughter a bunch of people, take over the country, and then what's to stop him? Because then Trump wants to back out of NATO or dissolve NATO. What's to stop Putin to keep on going? Just like from the other direction in 1940s, Hitler was going that way. Now we got Putin going back this way. And a scary thing that Major Ojeda said that I thought was really scary to hear is he said, "Don't be surprised if Trump sends troops to fight alongside the Russians to fight Ukrainians." So if that's true, if you're in the military right now, I think I would urge everyone in the military to resign if you can, to get discharged if you can. Fuck it. Fuck Trump. Fuck him. I mean, the thought of us fighting against Ukraine, our troops fighting against and killing Ukrainians, that is unfathomable to me. And that if that happens, we do need to see protests in the streets. If Trump sends troops to fight with the Russians against Ukraine, my God, that just thinking about that is such a horrible, horrible thought. So how many people are going to die because of this fucking election unnecessarily, here and abroad? And that, that whole thing about Ukraine, that could spark World War III. And of course, Palestinians. You think it's bad now? You think it's horrible now? Fuck the guy who said. I was reading. Everyone was doing these sort of post-mortem things about the election and saying, no wonder Democrats couldn't win when all these children were being murdered in Gaza and shit like that. Well, fuck you. They're all going to be murdered now. Whatever the number is now, there's no holding back now with Trump starting January 20th. So between now and January 20th, Terry Taylor, I'm sorry about your boyfriend Aaron. A lot of men are clueless. Wildflower says we won't last. He won't last a year. Um, we'll see about that. Steven Sayer says, will Trump leave the White House after 4 years? Guess we'll see about that. Mike H. Clinton looks rough. The years haven't been kind to him. Well, he's old. He's not. He's 80 years old. So what do you expect? Jimmy Roberts is here. She was such a great candidate. I know she was awesome. Kamala Harris was awesome. Fancy, I agree he won't last 4 years. Jolie says, big hook, big good. Chad took a break. I'm not in the mood for him today. Mr. Bob Newell just woke up from a 2-day bender who won. That's not even funny. Saya says, hide your daughter's rape is legal for rich white people. Kim, she said, agree, wild one foot on the banana pill and one on the grave. Tim Farrell says, Mayor Pete. Yeah, I was talking about putting up candidates. Yeah, Mayor Pete. I don't know. Can we get a gay guy? We couldn't get. We've tried twice at women. That's 2 strikes. And I'm not. I know that doesn't even sound right. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't try a woman candidate again, but I am kind of saying that maybe we're still not there. And then to try to elect a gay guy who I think is a great guy, a great. Of course, we all love how he goes on and he shreds all the Fox News people, and the guy is quick-witted and he knows his shit. But he probably will definitely be running, I bet. Josh, I'm sorry I don't like Newsom. Boy, I'm really behind in the chat because that was a long time ago. Well, I don't know why you wouldn't like Newsom. He's basically Joe Biden 2.0 and a much younger version. So maybe you don't like Joe Biden either. I don't know. Steve Sears says, will JD Vance have peaceful transfer of power? These are all things we're wondering about. Fancy says, no women now. We need a white man that is straight. America is not ready. We have to wake up and win. I don't know how much of that is with sarcasm, but I guess, unfortunately, it's probably true. Walter McCarvich says, good morning, Trucker John. Don't miss the main concerns. It's really not Trump. He is a figurehead. It's now who's in the shadow behind him. Human F being, my fellow Dims gave me grief over wanting to hold on to the filibuster because we might need it someday. We're going to need it now, aren't we? Well, the filibuster ain't going nowhere. They took the Senate. They're going to get what they want as far as getting appointments through. Kim Shi says, Roxanne, no to the illiterati, the illiterati have spoken. You worship the demented baby who sits in his own shit. Lorraine says, I unfortunately don't believe there will be any more elections allowed to run. They've taken control of 2025. Their Heritage Foundation will never let us back in. Well, I'm not going to adhere to that until it happens. I'll believe it when I see it. That's why we need to do everything in our power to not let that happen. Terry Taylor says it's really sad, TJ, but that is an either conscious or unconscious mindset for far way too many men and even women. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Man. Fancy says I me too, Sugar John. I feel bad for saying that too, but we must not risk another election. Um, Roxanne Collins says Newscomb is ruining California. What the hell drugs do you got to be on to drink? What he's doing good. Yeah, it's only the fifth largest economy in the world, so fuck you again. Whoever said fuck you before, I second the motion. If you thought, did you like how Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor and how he almost bankrupted the state, took it from being about around the fifth or sixth largest economy in the world and damn near bankrupted the state. I guess that's what you know passes for good governance to you fucking shitheads. Um, Big Hook says defend your institutions, make sure the military agrees to only operate on defending the Constitution, protect the media independence, so information doesn't get squashed. Orban did that in Hungary. Wildflowers stick together. Andrew Petrie love each other. Spooky Flow says, Donald, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the limitation of their women. Um, Steven Sayers, who will be the next woman to run for president? Who knows? I'm not even there. Right now, I'm just trying to hope and pray to God that we hang on to the house, that we get the house, which I don't think has been called yet. Um, WWR main way to defend our institutions is through voting. Terry Taylor says, my husband doesn't understand the danger we're all in now, as so many just don't get it. I'm so angry, sick, anxious, overwhelmed. Lorraine Spori Viaro says, Texas Paul said we need to prepare ourselves, start growing your own food, figure out new ways to get fresh water and electric. Wow. That's pretty drastic. Brendan Triplett says, lean years ahead. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, but we got to hang in there. We got to hang in there. Big Hook says, read and carry your Constitution and get Timothy Snyder's book, Tyranny, and follow all the principles and protect the U.S. from a fascist takeover. I think that's good advice. Mr. Bob Newell, am I still your sidekick? Sure, why not? MJ Daniel, I would stock up as much as possible on your medications while they are still affordable too. No telling what they will do with prescriptions. See, that's another thing. We had great work going on there. We're getting, insulin costs down and getting and being able to negotiate prices, and they were gonna keep continuing to get more and more medications, bring prices down. Yeah, but the American electorate thought, nah, fuck it. Mike H says, no matter what, I'm a vet and I love my country. I pray for peace and hearts to be full again. Andrew Petrie, I smell a rat. Fancy says, we have to work within the law. Please don't get psycho or violent. Absolutely. Um, Terry Taylor says, W, do you remember the first Trump presidency? Over 1 million people died because of his lies. This time it will be 100 times worse. He has no one to stop him. Steve Sayers, did TYT have anything to do with this loss? I don't know. I haven't really watched them in a long time. I don't know. Walter Makarovich says some people are so foolish. What happens when you have no safety net behind leadership? Someone please tell me. Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out. I don't know. I don't know. All I gotta say is we cannot give up. We cannot be defeatist. Stay registered and vote. We're gonna have elections in 2 years. I know some people are saying maybe we won't even have elections in 2 years. But I think we're still gonna have elections in 2 years. Um, Brenda Trippett, a person in my family voted for Jill Stein. Yeah. And that fucking moron, Jill Stein, she's a fucking Russian asset. Uh, Stephen Sayers, will Trump suspend the Constitution? I don't know. These are all good questions. I don't know. How do you suspend the Constitution? You just call for martial law or something? And based on what? I mean, doesn't there have to be some sort of national emergency? Brenda Triplett says, my neighbor said Biden comment about garbage was what really changed minds of Republicans on the fence. Did that change that many? I mean, was it that much to make that much of a difference? I mean, what about the outrage in the first place? The cause of the outrage from what Tony Hintridge said. So did what Trump said, like, I mean, what Biden said, it was worse? Josh tried to keep us positive. It says, folks, Trump won riding on a big pendulum. It's going to swing back. Well, yeah, but still, I mean, the pendulum is usually we see that in the congressional, the midterms. The thing that pisses me off so much is people still saying that this is a shitty economy and ignoring the fact that Trump led to that the shitty economy that Biden took over and reversed all that and turned us around. That's what I hate, that people don't see that. WW Trump tried to ruin a lot of things last time. He didn't get away with it. Our whole constitution is so that he will not have dictators. We will not have dictators. Remember, was it under Trump or was it before that when they were issuing like marriage license to same-sex couples? Was it somewhere like Virginia or West Virginia or somewhere back there? And the lady who was like I don't know if she was like, she was some official. I don't know if she was elected official, but she was working. She was the head of whoever did the marriage license, and she would not issue marriage license to same-sex couples, even though the law said that she had to. And she was a total fucking right winger, Tea Party. It might have been under Obama, but she was like a tea bag bitch. That's the kind of thing we're going to see throughout government with Trump. We're going to see even if the Constitution says you can't do this or that, or there are laws that they're going to go against it, and they're going to just follow Trump, and they're going to follow MAGA, and they're going to follow Project 2025. Keith the lead. I'm exhausted enduring these fuckers. I know it is exhausting. If you need to take a break, take a break. I kind of feel like, now this is unrelated, but I went about 2.5 weeks without drive. I didn't drive for Uber because I didn't have a car, and I didn't bring this up. I forgot earlier, but I got my car on Monday, so I did get a car Monday, and I didn't. By the time I got it on Monday, I didn't feel like driving, and then Tuesday was the election, and I just stayed home. I wanted to watch the election. Turns out I probably should have just went out driving, and then so yesterday was the first day I went out driving, and it actually felt really good to drive again because I was getting kind of burnt out on it, actually, to tell the truth, and I was kind of like dreading doing it. But yesterday I felt good driving, and it felt good to take my mind off of things. Although I did have about 3 different passengers that talked about the election. They wanted to know my opinion, and I was just like, because usually I don't talk politics in the car when I'm doing Uber, but I was just like, fuck it, man. Hey, they asked, and I just let them have. I mean, I was very nice, very respectful, had some very nice conversations with these people talking about the election, and it felt good. And I felt like, you need to take breaks from things, and if watching and politics and watching all this shit, if you need to go and take a weekend off or a week off or a couple weeks off, just go fishing or just do a hobby. Maybe turn off all your media. I know I'm like, hey, I'm down 23 subs, but hey, fuck it, man. If you need to unplug for a while, just don't quit. Don't completely quit. And we cannot have that. That's like I said earlier. That's what they want. Don't let the bastards win. But if you need to take a break, take a break. Recharge your batteries. And when you come back, you'll feel better, I think. I mean, the world will still be falling apart and running down as far as, the shit that's going on. But we have at least until January 20th before anything really starts happening. But if you need to take a break, do it, man. Unplug, unwind, read a book, whatever. Get back in touch with nature, go on walks. Look after your mental health. It's just very important. But then you got to keep your spirits up, keep your strength, because we're gonna be in for some really long, hard, tough battles here in these upcoming months and years. And I'm not ready to quit. I'm not ready to give up, and I hope you guys aren't either. And I think most of you aren't. But like I said, we do get exhausted, Keith, and sometimes you need to just. It's okay to take a break, but it's not okay, at least in my opinion, to completely unplug and that temptation's there. I mean, I had those thoughts in these last couple of days of just saying, fuck it. I'm done. I'm done with this show. I'm done with caring. I'm just going to go hit the gym and I'm going to fucking hit the weights and just dedicate myself to being a fucking gym rat. And I'm just going to listen to fucking Van Halen and Metallica and fuck it. That kind of thought did enter my mind. And just about completely tuning out from all of it. And then I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Now you could do that, like I said, you can tune out and take a break, but you can't just completely disengage. So yeah, if you guys, this might be a good time to take a break between now and January. And I'm not saying that whole time, but whatever you need to do, take a break. Just watch guilty pleasures. Go on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and just watch the most stupid, goofy shows, and stream and binge watch those or whatever it is you do. Go if you're into photography, go out and just fucking take a million pictures of shit. This might be the time to do that right now. We have this time before Trump takes office in January, um, maybe this is the time to take the break because we're going to need you. We're going to need everyone once he takes office. We're going to need everyone to be there and be at their best, be strong and healthy and ready to go. So, you know, that's all I got to say about that. Uh, Spooky Flow. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy, yummy, you guys. So whatever, dude. Roxanne Arfield says, "Hi everyone. I've been listening today. We need to recharge and regroup." Yeah, absolutely, Roxanne. Let's recharge. Let's regroup. Because they want us to shrivel up and go away. They want us to shrivel up and die. They want us to just be, you know, become worthless and useless. That's what they want. Don't give it to them. George Washington is here in the chat. It says, George Washington, we are here because criminal was not prosecuted. Yeah, Merrick Garland. Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah, Merrick Garland. Fuck him. He's an asshole. Um, George Washington, I'm done. Dims fell. Well, I'm not done. Like I said, to my last breath, I'll be fighting. Michael Andrews says there is no Nazi that will ever tell me anything about anything. Jenny Loves Cats is here. I'm sad but not broken. Hey Jenny, good. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. I am sad. I know I'm sad too, and I might be a little broken. I don't know, but like I said, I'm not giving up. I'm not quitting. I'm fighting to my last breath, and hopefully, God willing, I've got a few more breaths left. But if you need, like I said, if you need to take time off and take a break, do it. And this is the time to do it because we're going to need everyone back in January. WW says, well, at least not for 2 years, perhaps, but 2026 will be here before we know it. And that's true. That is true. Before you know it, we'll be in the midterms, and we need that big blue wave in 2026. God damn it, we need it. Robert Perez says, hey, I hear that Vladimir Putin is going to be defense czar for the next administration. Boom, boom. As old as Zen says, Spooky Flow, come back when prices are up and your porn is banned. Josh says, Big Hook, your call on Liberal Dan last night was heartfelt, and I appreciate you. Yeah, that was a good call. I was listening. I was listening to that. Jenny Loves Cats says, hi, Kimchi. Keith Polite, I thought we were done with Melania. I don't give a fuck about Melania. Melania can go fuck herself. That's probably all she does. Or she fucks the security guards or whatever, and apparently there's one that looks exactly like Barron. Did you see that freak of nature up on the stage when Trump was making his victory speech or whatever? Dude's a geek. He's over 18 now, so he's fucking fair game. Barron Trump is a fucking geek. WW, where pity dwells, the peace of God is there. Yeah, always pray for peace of mind when people are going through bad times. That's one of the things I do pray, that people be blessed with the peace of mind. Let their minds stop racing for a minute, Cian says, let them go party now, but when they will start crying, we can say, hashtag try to tell you. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that when a lot of these people who either voted for Trump or they just didn't vote, or at all. And now we're going to see the 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 fucked upness of Trump. We're going to see how it's going to go right back to being fucked up again. And that's why we need to be loud. That's why we need to rest up now. Let's rest up now. Let's recharge our batteries. Come January 20th, we need to be loud and loud and loud every single time that we see prices going up. When Trump enacts his 25% tariffs across the board, and we see prices jumping up because of that, we need to be loud, 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 loud. This is not because of Biden. This has nothing to do with the Biden economy. This is all Trump. You know, every time a woman dies in a parking lot because of abortion bans and abortion treatment and women's health care treatment isn't being allowed, we need to say this is because of Trump and the Republican policies and their abortion bans. We need to be loud and loud and loud and loud and loud about that. Every single one of us, every single one in this chat, we all have access to social media. We're all, you guys. Some of you guys are still on X. I'm not, but people are on X. People are on Threads. People are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not gonna fucking engage with China assholes. But a lot of you guys are on TikTok. Whatever. Every single fucking time that Trump fucks up and we got bad shit coming that's directly related to Trump and the Republicans, we need to fucking shout it off the rooftops, from the rooftops. Every single one of us in this chat, in Hal's chat, Boston Brian's chat, all you subscribers to all those channels, to Stephanie, Randy Rhodes, we all need to be the loudest motherfuckers that we've ever seen. James Williams says, thanks to President Biden, Ukraine has had a chance to develop their defense capabilities. America has contributed, obviously things disappeared again. But hopefully, I don't know how long they're going to be able to hold out. I hope all of Europe and the EU, even non-NATO countries, they need to gear up. I don't know if it's too late, but they need to stand up against. They need to have a united front, a united European and Eastern European front that stands up to Putin and joins Ukraine. Unfortunately, and if we fight with the Russians against Ukraine, God help us all. And I hope everyone in the military fucking resigns or goes AWOL. Just fucking go AWOL, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Michael McAndrews, we need to protect our women from these Nazi nut jobs and Trumpy. WW Niece had several miscarriages. Now has a beautiful 1-year-old girl. Is that how far back? Because I was talking about my mom's miscarriages like an hour ago. Is that how far back I am in the chat? WW, another niece did IVF and is due in March. And these are the things they want to get away. They want to do away with. This is what Trump and the maggots want to do away with. All that with IVF, which are great ways to help people who can't get pregnant get pregnant, but they don't like it for some god unknown fucking reason. They want to talk about freedom, 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 and all they do is take away freedom. Marie Jean Greco, I heard the CHIPS Act is in jeopardy too. I've heard that too. But I don't know. It's hard to figure them out because you would think, okay, the CHIPS Act has brought thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of jobs. I don't know how many jobs it's brought back to the United States. Good, well-paying jobs. Things are, manufacturing is being brought back to the United States because of the CHIPS and Science Act. Maybe they might want to rebrand it and call it something else. to make it sound like a Republican thing, but I don't think they're going to get rid of it because I don't know. Who knows? Fancy says, I believe in Biden and I think he will do some good things before he leaves. But whatever he does is probably going to be through executive order, and Trump can override as soon as he gets in any executive orders from Biden. WW many jobs do not pay a living wage, and many more jobs will not pay a minimum wage or a living wage under Trump. At least under Democrats, we were trying to get more and more living wage. We were trying to raise minimum wage. We were trying to get more and more good paying jobs. These chips factories, these computer chip factories, pay well over $100,000 a year, and these are and these were jobs that you didn't have to be like a computer science engineer or whatever, you know. Terry Taylor, miscarriage is very common. So many women are going to die. Yeah. How many people are going to die now because of Trump being president unnecessarily? I mean, people die all the time. People are just now died. People are dying every second. But how many people are going to die unnecessarily because of Trump? Now, last time, people say 1 million. I say I've heard it was at least of COVID, it was at least 500,000. How many people are going to die here in America and abroad? It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be here because of the healthcare issues. It's going to be in Ukraine. It's going to be in Gaza. It could be in the millions and millions and millions of people because of this one fucking election. If there's any reason for me to believe in an afterlife and believing that there's a devil, it would be because of how, like I said, in my lifetime, the bad guys keep winning. Talking about Nixon and Reagan and the Bushes and Trump, they keep winning, and they are fucking evil. They are. I don't give a fuck what WW might say to that. They're fucking evil. And because of those administrations, who knows how many hundreds of millions of people have died unnecessarily when you add them all up. Because of their fucking policies, decisions. And how far have they set us back when it comes to the environment? When it comes to every of getting rid of this misogyny and racism that really, I'm not saying we'll ever get rid of that 100%, but apparently it's so bad and so prevalent that we can't even get a great fucking person like Kamala Harris elected. She was great. And she ran a great campaign. I don't care what anybody fucking says. She ran a great fucking campaign. Like I've never seen in my fucking life. Brenda Triplett, he won't be sending troops to Ukraine, Trucker John. I fucking hope so. Hope you're right, Brenda. MJ says, possible they would do that and don't resign, refuse the orders. Mike H. Getting out of the military is in one piece is a great task. Think about, like I said, they should quit, go AWOL, resign, discharge, whatever. The thing about that is those would be the good ones that would do that. Like if they did it for a good reason like that, like what I was talking about because of Ukraine and shit, then that would only leave the bad ones. And believe it or not, Mike H., I thank you for your service, and I'm sure you were, a good guy. But there's a lot of assholes in the military. I mean, there's a lot of this like hard right wing evangelical faction in the military. And then if all the good guys left, that's all that's left. And those are the assholes that would not only, this is hypothetical to a sense, so Brenda Triplett, don't rake me over the coals over this, but those would be the assholes that would go and fight against Ukrainians. Those are the assholes that would turn guns on to their own people here in the States. So, it's a bit hypothetical when I say shit, I guess. Brenda Triplett, NATO countries are worried. They should be. And it wasn't supposed to work like this. We were supposed to have their back. And we became, we've had the military industrial complex since at least World War II. World War II spawned that, where the weapons and ammo and defense contractors really came out of that. So by the time we were in the Vietnam era, I mean, it was huge. And it's been huge ever since. And they get a big chunk of our budget every year. So we became the biggest arms and weapons and defense industry in the world. And you can, what we spend on defense is more than the next top 10 or 12 countries or whatever it is, industrialized countries. So the world really did depend on us to be the peacekeepers, or at least to provide weaponry and everything. So now that if we're pulling out, if we're becoming part of the evil act, what is it, evil access or whatever, axis of evil, it certainly seems like we are with Trump. He loves Putin, and he loves Kim Jong-un, and he loves fucking all these dictators, these autocrats. He loves Xi in China. The rest of the world should be fucking scared, because we have all the shit. And it wasn't supposed to be that. We were supposed to be backing the good guys. Now we're backing the bad guys, or potentially. I mean, I guess we'll see how it shakes out, but it's scary, and everyone should be scared. But hopefully we can turn that fear into action, and not into, like we say, just giving up and going into a cave or something. I mean, we have to keep activated, keep active, keep voting, keep getting out the truth. Getting out the truth. I guess instead of saying I'm woke, because people will say, they made being woke like a pejorative and all that. And I would say, well, I'm woke, and I would try to do that, and that didn't work. So I guess what I'm just going to say, instead of I'm woke, I'm just going to say that I'm knowledgeable or something. I don't know. We just need to keep our awareness, and make sure everyone else is aware of the truth, man. Get the truth out there. Don't let Trump get away with anything. Don't let him get away with anything. We all need to post. As soon as we see Trump do some stupid shit, some illegal shit, that needs to be posted. That needs to go viral. So everyone on your social media, socials, fucking put it out there. Every single one of us. I can't just do this all by myself. We all got to help. We all got to do it, dude. Oliver Brownlow's here. I saw that name in there real quick. I want to say hi to Oliver. Zolda Zen is here. Mindy Nitrous. I didn't sleep well last night. You and me and a lot of other people. Tuesday night, I did not sleep well at all. Robert Perez, I moved to Peru the last time Trump won, but I realized I can't fight for my country from another country, so don't think about leaving the USA. Well, at least you're down in the San Diego area, probably the best weather in the whole country. So you got that going for you. Kimchi, I slept last night, but not Tuesday night. Yeah. It was a horrible night. I was up with Hal until Hal signed off. Hal Sparks, for those of you who don't know who Hal Sparks is. I'm wearing my Nerd Halen shirt today. Can you guys see it? Um, Let me just remind people, for all the assholes that voted for Trump, America just elected a fucking criminal. There's that. Um, Here's this one. The day democracy died in America. I hope that's not true. I hope maybe democracy is on life support. Um, Hopefully, it didn't die. I remember seeing similar memes when Trump won in 2016, and we were able to survive. But it's kind of like when you get on life support once, and then a few years later you're on it again. I mean, uh, hopefully our immune system, metaphorically speaking, isn't so low, that we're not going to survive this one or whatever. Kim Shi says it's too late. I'm not staying here. I know German history. I know a lot of people feel the same way you do, Kimchi. Um, Josh Lavin TJ is an hour behind. Well, that's the way it goes. I got a lot to say today. I said a lot earlier, so that I had to get off my chest. So I hope you guys tolerated me for that. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and being here. This helps me, So maybe it's just this is a sort of a selfish thing on my part. Being here with you guys, having you guys in the chat, me being able to unload some of this shit onto you guys, it does help me. And I don't know if it helps you guys or not, but it helps me. But like I said earlier, we all need to stick together. We all need to have each other's backs, and we all need to have moral support for one another. We're virtually holding each other's hands. Like I told Jolie earlier, I wish I could be there in person to give her a big old Trucker John hug. For everything, for her brother passing and just everything going on. I would love to give you guys in real life a big old Trucker John hug. I feel like we need hugs. But we're doing it virtually here in the virtual driver's lounge, and that's just going to have to be, I guess, what we do. Be here for each other in this virtual driver's lounge and all the chat rooms that we go to. We need each other. We need to stick together. We need to just be there and lend moral support to everybody. Because this was horrible. It was a horrible blow. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not ready to give up. I'll be fighting to my last breath. Someone said hi, Dan, and I can't scroll back up, so I don't know if Liberal Dan's here or who the Dan is, but thanks for being here. Let's see. Tam Simple Life says Trump's tariff plan will make our prices go up. I heard Trumpers say they didn't know what a tariff is. We need to let them know. I know I had that kind of same conversation with one of my passengers yesterday that wanted to talk about the election, and so I was talking about, and he didn't know about what tariffs do and everything. So in my best way I could, I tried to explain it. Oh, that's Dan B. So it's not Liberal Dan. Oh, hey, Dan. Well, Dan B. Good to see you. Since Dan B. is going to be a lot of people leaving the country, I would be one of them if I could. James William, America is the only country I have ever visited that defines itself with colors. It's hilarious because the only color that really matters is green. Well, that's kind of weird. Dan B. Yes, we're going to need everyone. Jeff Curry says, whatever goofy shit makes you feel alive, do that. I feel that bumper sticker. Well, I am really like an hour behind. Where's Nick Rich? There's Nick Rich. Folks protect what they respect. I was gonna say, where's Nick Rich with my little time stamp? Usually, usually Nick Rich lets me know exactly how far behind I am, time wise. Um, but good to see Nick here. We need you, buddy. We need. Like I said, we need all of us to just uh, be there for each other. You know. Terry Taylor says, "I'm glad you're not giving up, TJ. You're right. We can't let the dirty fascist win. Yeah, don't let him win." Jeff Curry, I was just crying. This damn onion is strong. Roxanne, hi there, Jeff Curry. How's the head? Oh yeah, Jeff Curry. Hope you're feeling better. I guess you hit your head or something, and we were all worried about you. So hopefully you're doing okay. Oliver Roundlow, who would you be if Donald Trump was your dad? God forbid. I don't even think about it. Like I'd probably be a fucking prick, even more so than I already am. I guess I don't know. Jeff Curry, yo Roxy, it's a bit bitter. I still can't lay on the left side where I hit. Jeff Curry, man, hey, take care with that injury. Penny to Create says we are all at the intersection of idiocy and V for Vendetta. Remember the 5th of November. Um, W says we can't be blamers, shamers like the ultra libs who are perfect themselves. The world just isn't kind to them. Um, I don't even know who the ultra liberals are. I don't listen. I don't think I listen to the ultra libers. You know. Hey, Azolda's in, gifted 5 Trucker John memberships. Thank you so much, Azolda. Thanks for supporting the show and helping to get the message out there to other folks to get the show out there. Looks like Rosanna got one, David McPeak, Tony TB, and Juliana Dongu. Dongu was gifted that. Thank you so much, Azolda. That's very nice of you. Appreciate that. Um, Dana Arden is here. Hey, Dana, good to see you. Dana says, people, I really cannot survive anymore. Trump and MAGA saving my Activin. I know, Dana. It's going to be a tough ride. It's going to be tough, but just hang in there. Hang in there, man. Um, let's not give up, you know. I know, but like I said earlier, if you need to take a break, you need to unplug for a while, you know, do what you got to do. The Meowcracy Meow demand investigations. Yeah, we can demand that and we can do all that, but you know, under a Trump administration, all that shit is just going to be shelved and uh, you know, the Meowcracy Meow. If we had purged millions of Republican voters just before election, they would demand an investigation, and they would be right to do so. Demand investigations. Um, yeah, I guess between now and January would be the time to do that too, while we still have, you know, some amount of juice or whatever. But I don't know. Apparently, Jack Smith is closing up shop. You know. Brenda Triplett, my shrink, I see for PTSD, called to check on me yesterday. He is very aware of the situation. Yeah, this is tough. This is a tough blow. I'm not going to deny that. Democracy, meow. I appreciate you being here, but you don't need to spam the chat with the same by repeating the same thing over and over again. Okay, I read that. I read your thing already, and I don't think you need to just keep repeating it. And there's another one. Okay, we get it. Demand investigations. See, and I will be here for support. You guys can't be there. Don't want to be there, but I'm very busy. Yeah, yeah, I get it. You're in the Netherlands. You're far away, but I just appreciate you being here in the chat and lending your your words of encouragement. It's very much appreciated. Cian, thank you so much. Inzoid is here. Hey, Inzoid, good to see you. Inzoid says Trump will flatten Gaza with Netanyahu and let them flatten Ukraine. That's my fear. Absolutely. That's my fear. Inzoid South Korea now have to worry about Jungtu. Yep. It's this domino effect. It's gonna keep going around. The dominoes keep falling. Nick Rich says Democracy Now! Wes is WW. Mr. W. Wes Webb is a lovable troll, he claims. Inzoid says Putin wants to sabotage USA. MAGA morons helped. Yep, they helped bring their own demise in a way. Whatever bad's gonna fall onto them. They did it to themselves. Hey, Casper Northerners here. Good to see Casper. Says was reading on BBC earlier. The trade tariffs he's talking about will hurt U.S. consumers. Yeah, it will hurt it. It will be like an automatic 25% raise in prices. And when that happens, that's when every single one of us in this chat and in all the chats and everybody, you need to go on your socials and you need to yell that to the high heavens of what Trump, that these high prices are directly attributed to Trump's tariffs. Charlotte Bretagne, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Bretagne. Says Trucker John, don't give up. You are on the good side. I'm not giving up, Charlotte. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not stopping until my last breath. Now I might take a break here and there. Sometimes you got to unplug. Sometimes you got to take a break. But I'm not quitting. Nick Rich says buffering, but I don't know. I haven't seen it on my end, so hopefully no one's buffering, or this thing isn't buffering. Democracy meow. What's the easiest country to move to with pets, though? I don't know. Maybe Canada. Dan B says, John, I don't think many people didn't sleep well, me included. This is horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. I'm not gonna deny that it's horrible, but now we got to deal with the reality. Okay, look, I wanted Kamala Harris to win just as much as all of y'all did, and I thought she was gonna win. I really did. I thought she was gonna win by 16 million votes. I even said in the popular, and she was going to cream. I think my close to an exact quote is she's going to cream Trump in the Electoral College. That was what I was saying right up until election night, and I was completely wrong, and I'm not the only one. Everyone was expecting her to win, even Trump. Again, just like in 2016, he thought Hillary was going to win. But the reality is she didn't win. And the reality is we're going to have Trump be the next president of the United States again. So let's deal in the reality of that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do now? Are we going to curl up into a little ball and just become a worthless little gel of jelliness? Or are we going to stand up and fight? I prefer to fight. And I know Hal Sparks doesn't like that analogy or whatever, but I'm not Hal Sparks. I'm an old 64-year-old guy. I'm not going to do any physical fighting unless I absolutely have to. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like if it's, you know, so the way I'm going to fight is by doing this show, getting the word out and getting the truth out and getting information out. That's my way of fighting. And that's really all we can do. And then, I mean, we can peacefully protest. I'm all for peaceful protests. And of course, voting, making sure we vote and making sure we do everything we can to get big turnouts. Which was another thing. I thought we were going to have such a big turnout. The get out the vote movement, there was so much door knocking going on. I just don't get it. I don't understand what happened. I still don't understand what happened. But the thing is, I'm not giving up. I'm not ready to give up. James Williams says, unfortunately, we should have all been a little less trusting. It is self-evident all men are not. Wait, all men are born equal. Then vote black people are only 3/5. The gaslighting started a long time ago. There's Rosanna with the emojis, the Trucker John emojis. There's Kimchi with $1.99. We adore you, Vinton brother. Thank you, Kimchi, for that super sticker. I do appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. I appreciate your moral support and all that. So thanks for being here and for contributing to the show. I'm skipping down and I'm scrolling in the chat because I know I'm like really, really far behind. Rosanna, I want a hug from you, Trucker John. Well, I'm here. Just know I'm virtually trying to give you a big old Trucker John hug. Brenda Triple, we work harder now to preserve what we have left. Absolutely. There's Jackie and the trucker saying Trucker John. Is that a hug emoji? I'm not good at reading emojis. Robert Lewis says, be aware of all this his fraud, like the election. He's always committed election fraud every fucking time. Don't let him get away with it. I know what he did. What did he do? Tell us. What did he do? I mean, I have heard reports of Russia interference as far as like all these bomb threats and trying to keep people from voting that way. I've heard of that shit, and that's some bullshit, right? I almost feel like I lost both my mods here. I don't know. Robert, rest assured, I will never let this rest. I saw what they were doing. Why don't people understand this? Why do you believe Donald Trump and his campaign? They're criminals. I know. I know. These especially these maggots and even I guess people who aren't hardcore maggots, but they still voted for him, and they're basically, I guess, Republicans or independents that lean that way or whatever. Um, they think, a lot of them, that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. They think he's a great man. It's really disgusting. It's really, really disgusting. Danby, something that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. In Nevada, when you look at the presidential race and compare it to the Senate race, there are almost a million more votes on the Senate race. Does that make sense? Um, Maybe a lot of people just didn't like either one and didn't vote. I don't know at all. Just left it blank. Nick Rich, 11 a.m. And so I'm about 14 minutes behind now, but I have been scrolling down, so I've skipped a lot of you guys' stuff. So if I skip you, don't take it personal. Um, you know, I can't. I would be 2 hours behind if I was reading every single chat. So I try to touch on some and you know interact with you guys the best I can. Uh, Zolda Zen getting ready for work. Love you all. Thank you, Zolda, for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us before you got ready for work or going to work. I hope you have a good day at work. Just hey, go to work. Take your mind off this. Do your get involved in your work, and you know as horrible as this is, I think if we all stick together, we can get through it. Kimchi, 499 super sticker. We adore you. Hugs all around and vent on, dear friend. Appreciate the love, support, and remember to fight. Thank you, Kimchi. Thank you so much. I think that's your second one, right? Thank you. Thanks for supporting the show. Thank you for being here and putting in your 2 cents worth and um, you know it's all good to see. It's good to see, like, I like to see the new faces, the new names. That's great to have new people come in, but it's also great to see people that have been here and that you keep coming back and you support the show not only through the super sticker but through your likes and your subscribes and by chatting and you're supporting these values that we have the same. We pretty much have the same values. I think we might differ here and there a little bit, but by and large, I mean, we're all here together. And so I appreciate you being here, Kimchi, and everyone. I appreciate you guys being here. This does help me. It helps me. Like I say, there's a bit of a selfishness here, I guess, where it it helps me to get through this. And this is what we need to go do. Now, here's Paul Sharky Manning. Says, "Life goes on, TJ and truckers." Now, for those of you who don't know, Paul Sharky Manning is from England. And so Paul says, "Life goes on, TJ and truckers. Trump can't stop time, but time is catching up with Trump. Hang in there, my friends." Yeah, Trump at some point, I don't know when, no one knows when. It happens to all of us. We draw our last breath and we die. We all leave this earth at some point. And it's going to happen to Trump, and it could happen before the inauguration. It could happen right after the inauguration, or it could happen 10 years from now or 20 years from now. We just don't know. Now, there are probably betting lines somewhere where you can bet on that, but um but the thing is he's got a MAGA movement. He's got JD Vance. He's got the Republicans, Mike Johnson. All of that stuff is rolling along, you know. So even when Trump dies, there's still other people that are just going to step right up and take his place. So we still got to hang in there and go up against whomever it is that replaces Trump. It's not going to end it. We've got to stay at it. We got to keep at it. Robert Lewis, I'm so upset over this, and I don't know what to do. I know I don't know what to do either, other than just do what I'm doing. Like I say, just keep getting the truth out there. I know that Democracy Meow talking about investigating and all that stuff. That's yeah. Let's push for that. Let's push for investigations. Let's push for getting the truth out there. Like let's not let them do everything. Let's not let them get away to them. Let's hold them to accountability. Let's hold them responsible for what they're doing. Brenda Triplet, after my outburst yesterday, I will not do that again, but I will stand firm about reality. Yeah, yeah. I'm scrolling down, I guess, or whatever, through the chat here a little bit. I'm hitting that scrolly button. Um, let's see. Andrew Petrie says that numbers don't add up. Jolie says Trucker John has memberships, super chats. You can also support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing, or you can buy me a coffee over that buy me a coffee link, because you know I like coffee. Mike H says, I got a little pipe. I'm going to pack it, smoke it, inhale it, and exhale, and repeat as much as needed. You know what? I thought about that too. Like for me, I know a lot of you guys. That's a regular regimen of whatever. And I was that thought. Like earlier, I was talking about these thoughts that go through your mind about just checking out and giving up or whatever, and just saying fuck politics and fuck it all. And one of the things I was thinking about, just getting drunk, or going and buying a bag of edibles or something. I don't know. But then I realized that the problem is still going to be there. You can't, MAGA and Trump and all that shit. It's still going to be there, no matter how wasted or how medicated I get. It's still going to be there. So I would rather try to do that with as clear a head as I can. But hey, if every now and then you need to go get toasted or get rip roaring drunk, do it responsibly. Don't drive and anything like that. But if you need to do that, fine. But as long as you're not in recovery, again, I don't want to encourage anyone who's in recovery to do that. But or find something. Whether you find something you kind of lose yourself in for a while, take your mind off of it. But just know that the problem is still going to be there. Whatever you're doing, when you come back, it's going to still be there, and we need to deal with it. So just remember, we're going to deal with this problem by exposing their lies and exposing them for what they're doing, for all the bad that they do. We got to be relentless in that. And I've said this over and over again just during this show, and I'm going to keep hammering on that. So just like Democracy Now! Saying about investigating, Democracy Now! Meow has been hammering our chat here about that. And that's what you got to do. All aspects of your life. Just keep hammering that Trump is his tariffs are going to ruin our economy. His policies are going to take our really great, robust economy, the envy of the world right now, and he's going to destroy it. And when he does, we need to be there to make sure that every single one of these motherfuckers who voted for him in this election know that this is because of Trump. This is not because of Biden or Kamala Harris. This is because of Trump. We need to make that point loud and clear every single fucking time. Jeff Curry, I didn't realize the amount of uninformed people that are wandering out there. They are the majority. The uninformed people, they are, you and me and everyone in this chat, we are the exception to the rule. We are, when it comes to just, like I said, I'm not a genius, but I know probably more than 99% of the voting electorate or the general population, because what do? They just watch TikTok videos, or they're playing video games, or they're just watching fucking The Bachelor or whatever bullshit. They don't involve themselves in any of this shit. And so almost all the people who voted, they probably didn't even. They've been seeing all these campaign ads that infiltrate their TVs and their devices, and most of those ads are bullshit anyhow, especially the Republican ones, right? Misleading and deceptive. And that's all they get. That's really all that really is. I bet you 90% of the people who voted, that's all that they saw about the election. They didn't do any deep dives. They didn't investigate any of the claims of those campaign ads. And that's all they went by. That and whatever they saw on Fox News or um, any of the right wing media. They might see little clips here or there. That's what they go by. They're not like us. We can do a deep dive. We could actually investigate some of this stuff, and we'll talk about it. And we'll watch all these shows, and we learn about stuff. But we are the top 0.1% when it comes to that. That's the sad part about it. How do we infiltrate all of these people that don't really give a fuck until probably the day before the election? They might go and fill out their ballot, or the day of the election, and they're just going by just stuff they heard on TikTok or a campaign ad that was deceptive. You know, that's what we got to break through. We got to break through that shit somehow. Maybe I will go back on TikTok. I deactivated my TikTok account. I don't know. Maybe I should go back on there. I had over 12,000 followers over there, but I think 99.9% of them were like spam accounts or something. So I don't know. Dan B, that's what I've been thinking about the bomb threats now. Here is the question: was anyone looking and watching the voting machine ballots to where they were and who was in the garden? I don't know. All I heard there were bomb threats, and they had to close the polling places for a while, and that may have turned voters away or turned them off or kept them from voting or whatever. Um, WWS, see how Kamala plays her game, who she surrounds herself by. Now, I was wondering, will she run again? Can she run again? Or is she just through politically? Is that it? I mean, she's still relatively young. Is she going to ever run for Senate again or run for any office again? Or is she just done? Or can she run? If Trump can run after losing, after getting his ass beat by Joe Biden, you would think that would have been the end of that. That would be the end, right? Most times, if you're the nominee and you lose, you're done. But not Trump. No, no, no. He came back, and he still had the support of MAGA, and he was able to get parlay that into widespread support. Is Kamala done? She only had what 2 or 3 months to campaign. A few months, 4 months, or whatever it was. I think it was less than 4 months, right? Well, maybe I don't know, but whatever it was. What if she had a whole 2 years to campaign or something? What if in after the midterms of 2026, getting close to 2027, what if she decides to camp? Would that work if she had a longer run? I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like earlier, I know I was saying that maybe maybe we're 50 years away, or 20 years away, or 100 years away from being able to elect a woman president, but maybe not. I mean, she had a great campaign, and to me it felt like it was even bigger than the Obama campaign in terms of excitement and invigoration. I just thought of that really when I saw W's post. Is she out of it? Is she dead in the water or dead? Like metaphorically speaking, is her political career dead and gone, or can she come back and run in 20 for the 2028 and get a full campaign? I guess the primary system would prove that if she went through a full, because that's what some of the people are saying why she lost, because she didn't win the primaries and all that this time. I'm just wondering, is it worth taking that chance of trying to beat back the misogyny and the racism? I thought we already beat the racism with Obama. Not saying that racism doesn't exist, but to the point where we could elect a person of color, and we proved that with Obama. So I guess our the thing we haven't proven yet is, can we elect a woman to be president? Hillary failed and Kamala failed this time, but could she do it? Is she done? I guess that's a good question for the chat and for everyone in the world to ponder. And Kamala is thinking that now, and she's got time now. She's got a lot of time on her hands, and she can take a break. She could take a 2-year break probably right now, and she could regroup and recharge, and she could eventually, maybe in a year or a year and a half from now, or whatever, 18 months from now, she could start doing some exploratory, whatever they call it, uh, put some feelers out, you know, dip her toe in the water or whatever, see what the weather is like, or whatever the analogy is. So maybe we shouldn't, or maybe I'm the one. I don't know if you guys have. Maybe I'm guilty of just writing off Kamala and saying she's done. That's it. No more from her. But she ran a great campaign. She really, really did, like I've never seen. And whatever mistakes she did make, she can improve on those now. So maybe we shouldn't count out Kamala Harris. Maybe we shouldn't count out not being able to elect a woman president. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, but my earlier statement, maybe, and if anyone could do it, it would be her. I think, to break that barrier finally. If she had a full campaign to run in the primaries and for the 2028s, uh, maybe that's something to think about. And I know people say, well, we might not even have elections in 2028 and all that, but I gotta believe that we are gonna still have our elections. Now, as I say that, I'm looking at Macklum's post here. It says, "Do you at least recognize the fact Harris was a horrible candidate? She didn't make a convincing argument to support her turn against Trump." Um, I don't think she was a horrible candidate. I thought. Did you see the debate? That was another thing. She kicked Trump's ass in that debate. She wiped the floor with Trump's fucking comb over. And yet she still lost. I mean, people say that Hillary was a horrible candidate. Well, that's because she lost. At the time, she wasn't a horrible candidate. She made mistakes. She definitely made mistakes. And I think the Democrats and Kamala Harris learned from those mistakes, as far as not campaigning in certain areas, taking certain states for granted and stuff like that. I don't think Kamala Harris did that. I don't think Harris was a horrible candidate. I think she maybe just didn't have enough time campaigning. As hard as that is to believe, since she campaigned everywhere, and everywhere she went, it was electric. It was off the hook, off the chain, whatever. And she raised over $1 billion motherfucking dollars in a short period of time. It's amazing. I don't think she was a horrible candidate. Um, Nick Rich, we come here for fun and cookies too. All right, Nick. I know what you're saying. Has it already been over 2 hours? My God. Where does the time go when you're venting? Um, yeah, we've been like what 2.5 hours or something. I usually only try to keep it around 2. So sorry I'm keeping you guys so long. Maybe today we needed to go a little long. I know we're all upset. We're mourning. We're trying to we're trying to keep from crying. We're tired of crying. It's at some point, yeah, cry, let it out. A good cry is good, but at some point we need to stop crying. We need to stop with the mourning, and we need to stop, and we need to get on, get back on that horse. You know, and I'm not saying you got to do that today or tomorrow, but certainly, you know, during this Trump administration, we need our strength. We need our strength to fight them off. Jolie says, "Sorry, John, I was driving for a few. I got him." Um, oh, that's okay. That's okay. Nick Rich, 20 past. So what am I? I'm still 15 minutes behind. Mr. Spock, you won't know it like the Spanish Inquisition, and nobody expects that. Hey, Mr. Spock, by the way, live long and prosper. To all of us, let's live long and prosper. Let's find a way. Let's find a fucking way. Like I've said several times on this live stream right today, don't let the bastards win. Hey, there's Stephanie B2. Good to see Stephanie. Says Kevin, come back to us in 2 years to see how much money you have in your pocket. We are going into a recession immediately. Well, like I said earlier, I don't. It might take a couple years. I don't know before what Biden has in place can be eradicated or whatever. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will be less than that. I could be wrong. I'm not a economic um, expert or anything like that. So I'm not an economist. So apparently Kevin says some shit. Oh, Kevin Rapinski, I'm a MAGA supporter. Okay. With all due respect, we put up with your candidate for 4 years. Now bite it like we did and move on. The country will be great again, and everyone will have money in their pockets. Um, okay, so why are you a MAGA supporter? You do know that Trump ran the economy into the ground the first time he was president. You do know that he ran up uh, debt more than all the rest of the presidents combined in U.S. history. You do know that, right? He was. We were going into a recession before COVID hit. You do know that he mishandled COVID intentionally because that's his thing. He doesn't. He thought he could. Um, that it would just all go away, and he didn't want to. He didn't want to deal with it to make it an issue that he'd have to talk about or whatever. He thought it would go away when spring came or whatever. And because of his mishandling of it, and he didn't want to follow the guidebook that had been handed down to him from the Obama administration because he didn't want to do anything that had Obama's name on it. That led to at least 500,000 unnecessary deaths. You do know that, right, Kevin Rapinski? You MAGA motherfucker. You do know that, right? You do know that he gave tax breaks to the rich. that added trillions of dollars to our debt. You do know that, right, Kevin Rapinski, you stupid ass motherfucker? Fuck you, Kevin Rapinski, you motherfucking piece of shit. You go fucking suck on this, motherfucker. You motherfucking maggots. You know what, Rapinski? Fucking bite it, motherfucker. Bite me, motherfucker. MJ Daniels says the wealthy like Musk and Bezos will be fine. The average American is fucked. Musk thinks the economy needs to be painful for a while, just not for him. Republicans are morons, especially the fucking Rapinskis of the world. Dan B says, yeah, getting wasted is not the idea. You're not going to do it for 4 years. Um, James Jaramillo's here. Hey, James, good to see you. Says Paul Sharkey Mannion, will the courts do anything now that POS is president elect again? Uh, Trump's going to skate on all that shit. The courts aren't going to do shit now. So Rapinski, you know, are you proud to have a fucking rapist as your fucking leader? Are you proud and happy you have this fucking criminal and convicted fucking felon? Fuck you, Rapinski, you motherfucker. Oliver Brownlow, Kevin Rapinski, what are you doing in here, Mr. MAGA supporter? Why aren't you off celebrating with your MAGA buddies? Because this is what they do. They love to rub it in. You know, they're just like petty little children. Brendan Triplet, RFK Jr., I'm in charge of healthcare. Joe Blow says, right on, John. Thank you. Fancy says, Newsom isn't having it. James Jaramillo says, Kevin Rapinski, you didn't put up with a whatever thing, a fucking thing. All your boy did was whine, just like all of you. Don't even try going there, bud. Yeah, talk about whiny crybabies. Donald Trump is the biggest, whiniest crybaby of them all. Joe Blow, we're all brokenhearted. Yeah, we're brokenhearted, absolutely. But like I say, you know, we gotta eventually we gotta break out of that and just keep at them. Keep at the Kevin Rapinskis of the world. Tell them to go shove it up their fucking asses. Fancy says he's our next president. I like Gavin Newsom a lot, but you know, he should go through the primary process, and you know, we'll see. I mean, it's not a guarantee that it's going to be Trump and then 8 years of JD Vance. This could be a one-term thing for the Republicans, and we can get right back at it. You know, Mr. Spock, it would be funny if Trump croaked before January 20th. So then, if he did, would that just put Vance automatically? I guess I would put Vance would automatically become president elect. I guess, right? So I'm not sure how funny that would be. Dan B, I think she is going to run for governor. Oh, for Kamala, run for governor. Hmm. Um. Maybe. Yeah, he's termed out. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. You guys, I'm trying to just scroll down to the bottom of the chat here. I know I'm really far behind. Jeff Curry, I've had 7 boosters so far. I think I lost count. I've had. I think there's a new current one that I haven't got yet, but I probably got 6 or 7 or whatever. Um, Kim Chi Fox is Russian propaganda, and we need to regulate cable. These are all pipe dreams until we get back in control of the government. Dan B, can't take a break, not with this ass in office. We need to keep mobilized. Well, like I say, sometimes you can take. I'm not going to deny people being able to take little breaks here and there. If that's what's if that's what's going to keep you going, then do it. Sometimes we all need to. You can come back and you'll feel better. Otherwise, you stand the chance of running yourself down. Now there might become a point where it's like, you know, okay, no breaks now. Like Tim Walz was saying, we'll sleep when we're dead. Well, right now I'm saying right now we have sort of this period between now and January. Maybe that's the time to take a break or whatever. But you know, everyone can make their own judgments of what they need to do. But don't check out permanently. Is what I'm saying. Kim Chi says the media is not left wing, it is right wing, and we need to remind everyone that billionaires own us. Well, Jimmy Carter said back when he was still talking, however long, this is probably 10 years ago or whatever, but he did say that this is an oligarchy. Even Jimmy Carter said that. Joe Blow, day by day, we will survive. Fancy, here we go. Here we go. Brenda Triplett, the wealthy made $64 million on the election, for fuck's sake. How'd they make $64 million? Rosanna, we are survivors. We will survive. We will survive. Maybe I should call it quits. We're down to 40 people watching. Maybe I've overstayed my welcome a little bit here. But Joe Blow, 100 days. Joe Blow, she had my vote. She had my vote too. Dan B says she raised all this money, had all these people at her rallies and lost. I am sorry. This just doesn't make any sense to me. There is something rotten in Denmark. Yeah, I know. That's my thoughts too. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really heard any allegations of anything other than the bomb threats and stuff, but I don't know. It's very weird. It is very weird. They raise so much money, and like I say, the rallies and all the support coming out in the media, like from big celebrities and former Republicans, and all this stuff. It just doesn't make sense. But I don't know what to say. Stephanie B2 says, fortunately, we're set well enough that Trump's presidency and the high cost of living won't be too hard on us, but I feel for a lot of other people. It's going to be rough. It's going to be some rough times ahead. So that's why we need to gird our loins and do whatever we need to do to keep ourselves physically safe and mentally healthy. And like I keep saying, man, just yell from the rooftops all the shit that they're going to do, so that the Kevin Rapinskis of the world will know that their dear leader is a fuck up. Fancy says, listen to Popok about what we need to do. I don't know who Popok is, but I'll check it out if I remember. I keep saying I need to get a pen and pad so that when you guys suggest other folks to watch and listen to, because then I always forget. Um, I always forget. I mean, J Daniel bite me. DJT is going to fuck this up badly. Yeah, Democracy Now. Meow says bankruptcy 6 times. Yeah, he's a great businessman. He's a great businessman. But he would say that that's smart. That's smart to do that. Paul Strugman, keep your heads up. Yeah, we're going to keep our heads up. We will, for sure. For show. Stephanie Batu says, like I said, it's going to be hard for me to look my mother family in the eye without smacking their faces off for voting for that piece of shit, piece of trash again. Yeah, I know. And I was just thinking before the election of getting back in touch with my brother and sister, who we haven't spoken since 2016, directly related to Trump winning and MAGA. And I did not block them or shun them. They're the ones that shunned me. I want to make that perfectly straight. I had conversations with them up to 6 months after Trump was elected. And then all of a sudden, they stopped communicating with me. My sister blocked me. My brother didn't block me, but whenever I've left any messages to them, they don't respond. They don't do anything. So I just gave up, and I was thinking about, maybe it's time to try to offer the olive branch and get back. But now, I don't know. Now Trump won again. I mean, I still should. I probably still should. Rosanna, I think, is giving me kisses. Thank you, Rosanna. If I'm reading the emojis right, I don't know. Fed cut interest rates. Surprised? They did that today? Wasn't that a little while ago? Fancy says we have to go into their places. I don't know. I'm skipping down a little bit, guys, because I need to end the show here, but I just want to skip down to the bottom of the chat. MJ Daniel says we will be seeing signs that there has been a lot of price gouging in order to make the economy look worse. Yeah, absolutely. Then in order to help GOP very soon. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to drop prices now and say, look, this is because of Trump. Joe Blow, I feel vulnerable. That's why we need each other. That's why we all need to come together and be there for one another. Because by myself, alone, I'm not much. But when we all come together and band together and group together, we can be strong and mighty. I guess that's what E Pluribus Unum is about, right? In a way. The Meowcracy Meow says we don't have time to lick our wounds. Please act now. No, lick later. Rosanna, I'm hoping to be alive for a woman president. I know. Me too. I'm hoping we all will. MJ Daniel says Hillary was very qualified, ran a good campaign, and had a full primary. It is being a woman part much. Yeah, but she did make mistakes as far as ignoring some of the blue wall states, some of those like what Michigan, Wisconsin areas. She didn't campaign at, and she should have more. And as it got closer to the election, she kind of took them for granted. She made those mistakes, and I think Kamala Harris learned from that. And she didn't take. I don't think she took anything for granted. And maybe the third time will be the charm. Maybe, and I don't. I hope we don't have to wait 50 years for a woman president. Maybe the third time will be a charm, and maybe Kamala Harris could still run again. I don't see why not. If Donald Trump can run again after losing and getting his ass beat by Joe Biden, why can't Kamala Harris do it? And I know the Republicans, there's this big double standard. They can get away with so much shit that Democrats can't. Joe Biden was old, and he looked old, and he sounded like he had lost. I'm not saying he did lose any like cognitive ability, but he didn't sound good and didn't look good, and that forced him out. Donald Trump looks like shit, and he sounds like shit, and he sounds like an old senile bastard. But that didn't matter apparently. So there's this huge double standard, right? And so I guess when I say, well, why can't Kamala do it? Well, I guess there is that double standard, but I'm saying maybe we shouldn't count it out. Maybe we shouldn't count her out, Kamala Harris. Maybe she might be back. Why not? Why the fuck not? But we'll go through a primary process. Maybe we'll have Gavin Newsom on the primary, running in the primary. Maybe we'll have Kamala Harris back. Maybe not. I mean, she'll probably get some sort of polling and doing all that stuff to find out what kind of interest there is and stuff. But and maybe there'll be some other names. Someone says Buttigieg. Like I said, if we're not electing a woman of color, I'm not sure if we're going to elect a gay guy. And I love Pete Buttigieg. But anyhow, yeah, Kimchi, he filleted a mic. The man is demented. Yeah, he's doing that. But again, I don't think 99% of the voters even saw that. At least the ones who voted for Trump. They don't see that shit like we do, Kimchi. They don't watch the shit. They're playing video games and they're watching TikTok videos. They're not watching the rallies. They didn't see that. They don't see that. They just think of Trump from The Apprentice, and they know about his first term. He was already president, and they heard something that somehow that he was good, even though he wasn't. They don't know shit. They're stupid. And when we talk about them, we say they're stupid, it's because they're fucking stupid and they're ignorant. They don't even know about the filleting of the microphone because they're not interested in any of that shit, and they're just barely interested enough to vote, and they're basing it on maybe the last campaign ad they saw or something, or maybe they're just from a Republican family and they always voted for Republicans. I'm not talking about hardcore MAGA. They watch all this shit and they don't give a shit. He could have made that microphone come in his mouth and they still would have voted for him, for MAGA. But I'm talking about all the non-maggots that voted for him, which is the majority of the people that voted for him were probably non-maggots. And they're just like, oh yeah, Trump, he's that apprentice guy and he's like a really good businessman and he kicks ass and he takes names. That's what they think. They're thinking of this image from 20 years ago. They don't even see how old and decrepit he is and how he can't even fucking hardly walk when he tries to get into that trash truck. He almost fell down. They don't see that shit for the most part. They get away from their Call of Duty or whatever games they're playing just long enough to go vote. And I'm not talking about like 21-year-olds playing Call. These are like the 30-year-old and 40-year-olds. They're still playing all these video games in their mother's basements. That's who fucking got Trump elected, probably. And it's sad. Kim, she says, Steph is right. Everyone is sitting in a room on fire saying, this is fine. I freak out now. Rosanna, no, you're good, Drucker. Paul, try to stay strong. Well, thanks for your support, Paul. I appreciate it. And thanks for being here and hanging out with us from all the way across the pond. You guys over there, you must be shaking your heads. People in London and England and all through Europe. I know a lot of people are scared shitless now. And with reason, with good reason. We're all scared. But we can't let our fear paralyze us. We need to have our fear motivate us. Hey, Mad Mac is here. Good to see Mad Mac. Says Popak is on Legal AF, part of Midas. Oh, I've probably seen them then. Joe Blow, Popak is an attorney on Midas Touch. Okay. It's funny how far behind I am in the chat. That's why I need to really scroll up here. J Ohio 107 says, don't forget we have to deal with the Supreme Court of MAGA for at least 50 years. Yeah, that's, yep. And once again, Trump's going to get the picks. Now, they're saying, they've been saying two people might resign during Trump's administration. I guess one might be Thomas. The other one, I don't know, is it going to be Roberts? Like, whoever they are, I guess they're both going to be Republicans. Hopefully, who was the other one? Was it Sotomayor or something that they were saying that she might retire? Pray and hope to God that she can hang on. You know, but so we don't lose another Democrat or liberal or whatever you want to fucking call it. But if Thomas resigns, it'll just be another asshole. Probably even worse than Thomas, unfortunately. See, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. All these Supreme Court picks that we get robbed out of. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. I'm losing my crowd here. We're down to 38 watching. I'm losing you guys. Kimchi, bet the passport office is busy today. I had some Canadian passengers, and they said that I was welcome to come to Canada. And I said, I just might take you up on that, although I was joking. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. I was born and raised here. I'm going to fucking die here, okay? Mr. Spock, Pete would be a great president. I agree. But like I said, we can't even get a woman elected. Are we going to get a gay guy? Or are we less homophobic than we are misogynistic? How are we on the scale, American voters? We've got racism, misogyny, homophobia. Where are we at on the scale here of which one we're more opposed to being president? I don't know if they're all about the same or if one is above the other. Where the fuck are we, America? You homophobic, misogynistic, racist ass motherfuckers. Where the fuck are we on that scale? Marie Jane Greco says, I wanted to see him try to get out of the trash truck. Democracy Now, Meow says they sent flyers out to scare women. It said, your neighbors, your family, your friends will know if you don't help us. Keep the radical left out of office. Equal, they thought people knew who they voted for. And that's another thing. People are fucking stupid. Your vote, who you actually vote for, is kept secret. No one knows who you vote for. Only that you voted. That's all that's recorded, is that you voted. And that, I guess, if you're a registered Republican or whoever you're registered with, I mean, we know that's a matter of public record. If you're a Democrat or a Republican or a Green Party or whatever, or a non-affiliated, we know that, and we know that you voted. Other than that, we don't know. Unless people are just don't believe that they know that that's the way it's supposed to be, and they don't believe that it's actually private, or that who you voted for isn't recorded or something. But I don't know. But I guess my thought is, I don't give a fuck if you know who I voted for and you don't like who I voted for. My thought is, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. I voted for Kamala Harris, and if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. That's me. Now, I guess it's different if I was a woman and I had an abusive husband, or I was afraid of abuse or retribution, or if my neighbors were a bunch of gun-toting, fucking AR-15 toting maniacs. I guess then that would be a different situation. So James says Thomas and Alito. So Thomas and Alito might retire. Oh, yeah, because resign or whatever. So if they resign, then we're going to get just more of the same, I guess. It would have been super nice to be able to replace those with liberal Democrats. Would have been nice, folks. But hey, we deal in reality, right? We're dealing with reality. Reality. It is what it is. It is what it is, and we just have to. It's one of those setbacks I was talking about. Like another show I've been watching, The Magicians. Did you guys ever see The Magicians? It came out from 2015 to 2020, I believe. 5 seasons. I'm on season 4 right now. I really like the show. I enjoy. I'm enjoying the show, and that's another thing. Where they go. It's almost like Harry Potter for grad students or something. Is basically what it is. But I really like the show. I enjoy the show, and they have these quests that they have to go on, and they have the bad guy, the bad demon, the bad god, or whatever, and they've got to go and try to destroy that demon. And as it looks like they've got a plan, it looks like everything's going to work and everything go, and then there's always something that happens, something sometimes really horrible, and it looks like, oh my god, they're never going to get out of this. And I realize this is fiction, but you're watching it and you're like, oh my god, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to do that? And they come up with a way. They come up with a plan. They think on their feet. They might get down and they might be devastated for a moment, but they get up and they rebound and they think on their feet and they get out of that situation. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to rebound. We've got to think on our feet. Okay, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do next? How are we going to defeat this demon? This demon fucking Trump and all of his demon minions. How are we going to defeat them? We can't let them, no matter how hard of a blow we take and how devastating it might feel, we got to get up and make a rebound here. And think of, okay, what do we got to do, and have a plan of action, and then go for it. So don't give up. Do not give up, my friends. Like I've said over and over, and just today, that's what they want. They want us to quit. They want us to give up. But you know what? We're not going to do it. We're not going to quit. And we are going to be hounding them and hounding them and hounding them. We're going to make them want to quit. Because we will be relentless to our last breaths. Kimchi, got to go. Blessings. I know. Randy Rhodes. Oh, yeah, it's 12:06. She's on right this instant, guys. I was going to try to get Cookie and Paul in here real quick before I go. All right, guys. No, I just want to say goodbye. Hey, I'm there with you. I feel just as bad. I cried a little bit of cookie tears myself. Even old tough Cookie. Shed a tear. But I'm not going to let it stop me. All right? So keep going, guys. Don't let the bastards win. Keep at it. We're going to get them. We're going to get them. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you guys for being here. You guys are wonderful. And I will join hands with Tough Cookie, and I will join hands with all of you, and we will ride this out together. And we'll be back in 2026 and in 2028. Whomever it will be, whether it's Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom or some unknown person we haven't even thought of yet. We will be there. We will be back. They're not going to get rid of us that easily. No way. No fucking way. Excuse my French. I usually don't drop the big F-bomb. But today it was necessary, I think. But thank you guys for being here. And I'm going to be here. Tough Cookie, Trucker John, we're all going to be here. We ain't going nowhere. All right? All right. So those guys popped in. Good to see them. And I concur. We're not going anywhere. We're not running. We're not hiding. We're going to be in their faces all the way. We ain't going to stop. They ain't getting rid of us that easily. I want to thank all you guys for being here. I know everyone's going over to Randy Rhodes. We're down to 39. Thanks for the likes, the subscribes, the shares. Thank you, Kimchi, and everybody who did like super stickers. Even Chad did. For the gifting, the memberships, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys. I don't think I'm going to do an afternoon show today, like I usually do. I don't think I'm going to do it today. But I will be back Saturday at 11 a.m. right after House Sparks for a little post show hangout. If you guys want to hang out with me, hopefully you do. We can hang out and like I say, we got to keep it going. Got to keep it going. So no show today. I've got stuff. I got stuff I got to do. But I'll see you guys Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. And just remember that probably the most important thing that you can do is.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kick. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I could handle the skin. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back.